Mansker Station in Goodlettesville is a great place to go explore Tennessee frontier life as it was in the 1700s. Now, children can find many reasons there to appreciate their lifestyle here in the 21st century. That's especially true during the annual Heritage Day celebration, and our own Rob Wiles was there bright and early for the most recent event.
Shoulder, arms.
The Severe Militia is having drill today.
Right, face, forwards, march.
Not severe as in harsh, but severe as in John Sevier, who was Tennessee's first governor, elected back in 1796. Now, back in those days, when you lived here on the frontier, your militia had to be ready for all kinds of invaders.
Fire!
But today, the invaders are hundreds of school kids who've come to visit Heritage Days at Moss Wright Park in Goodlettesville.
We're going to make a bigger pot now.
Kristen Letzinger brought her class from Poplar Grove Elementary in Franklin for a lesson come to life.
We've been learning about the colonial times up into the American Revolution, so this really gets their brains engaged as to how life was back then and helps them kind of put themselves in the colonial's shoes. So really, when they get back in the classroom, they make a lot of great connections between what they learned here today and what we're learning out of our history books in class.
Dozens of artists and reenactors have come to the park to show how things might have been done, how pots might have been made by hand.
We're going to take this off using our wire tool, but the early American Indian used horsehair to cut with.
Not only hearing, but touching.
How does it feel? Squishy, cold, wet?
Of course, there were certain things back in 1796 you had to feel very carefully.
Do not touch anything unless one of the demonstrators tells you can, because it will cut you, scrape you, stab you, or otherwise hurt you if you do.
Still lots of things to touch and see and experience, like a lady actually making crackers with a recipe that contains a surprise. Now let's see, there's flour,
a half a teaspoon of salt, a quarter cup of water, and a third of lard. Lard.
What is lard?
It is animal fat.
Animal fat. Ooh.
another surprise from a lady making soap. Yes, making soap.
Before we had giant factories to make all of our soap for us, there would be a family that would devote their whole cottage, their whole house, to making soap and then selling it at the market.
This is what's going to provide our energy.
The kids even get to work. Yes, and they line up for the chance.
Place your right foot on that board, right center of those lines, and you need to push. Watch me. Push straight down, straight up, okay? And go.
Bill Maddox is an interpreter here at the park, and today he's portraying not a hero of mythical proportions, but an average settler.
Being able to keep your history, your heritage alive is important to any culture. Quite often we see where these, even as with today, we see where we advance technologically so fast that where we came from is lost. And if you cannot find a way of tying back into that root and those roots and offering it back to the general public for them to come and see, you are definitely going to lose where, who you are. You become so wrapped up and we need to go someplace and find a signal for our cell phone, or is there Wi-Fi available? At this time, this was not a concern for us. Our concern was making sure that our families were cared for, our crops were in the ground.
Of course, life wasn't all work. There was dancing, which is pretty hard to learn to do in a couple of minutes, but still a lot of fun. The people donating their time to stage this event really get into their roles, so that a visitor might do the same, and if, let's say, he was feeling a bit ill, well...
Dr. Keeley, I'm Rob Wilson down in Nashville. I just rode up here and I think I had a little touch of fever.
Oh, well, have a seat right here.
My stomach is bothering me a little bit.
I have something that's perfect for that.
Oh,
so
what would that be, doctor?
We're going to be trying a procedure called venesection.
What is that?
This is my lancet.
You know, that looks a lot like a knife,
It is.
Doctor. What are you going to do with that?
Well, we're going to roll up your sleeve and we're going to extract some of the blood.
Extract?
You have an excess of blood and that's going to be causing your fever. So I'm going to take probably about 2 ounces of blood out. And once your fever reduces a little bit, you should be feeling right as rain.
You know, I'm feeling a lot better already, you know, and so I don't think I really need that. And I left my insurance card out in my saddlebag. So thank you, Doctor.
Well, it's astounding how many people feel better after my consultation.
Well, it's the magic touch you have, Doctor. Thank you very much.
We may not want to return to everything that happened back then, but interpreter Jennifer Kirk says being able to take a peek at it.
I don't know if you can put a value on it. I think it is something that every city should have. I think people need to know their history. And the house in 1787, well, that's the same year the Constitution has been signed. So when people step in that house and they hear that and they realize that George Washington is not president yet, then that just kind of tells you just, well, it just kind of sends you a little chills.
Whoa! What's all the excitement about? Butter.
Chills that, for some of the kids here, may turn into a love of history, begun at Heritage Days in Goodlettesville.